Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it is time for episode number 12 in my Essential Movie series. And this time out, I will be reviewing Do the Right Thing, which was written, directed, and produced by Spike Lee. And this is the Criterion Collection edition of the film that I picked up late last year. But there are a number of other editions of the film that you can find. And as those of you playing along at home will already know, I'm reviewing every movie in this particular book. This is Joe Layden's Guide to Essential Movies You Must See If You Read, Write About, or Make Movies. And Do the Right Thing is actually the last entry in a chapter called Americana, which basically highlights or showcases the best and, in some cases, the worst of America. And Do the Right Thing is probably one of the more challenging films I've had to review so far in this series. Definitely a movie that I didn't really know what to expect going in. It's also one of those movies that I really wish I'd seen when it came out, just so I could do a compare and contrast type of thing of what it meant to me then versus what it means to me now. Unfortunately, I hadn't seen it until I watched it tonight, which I wouldn't say is an error on my part, but I'm just not real familiar with Spike Lee's work. I think I've only seen two of his movies that I'm absolutely sure I've seen. One was a documentary called When the Levees Broke, which was about the Katrina situation down in New Orleans. And the other one was a movie called Inside Man, which isn't typically or very typical of his earlier work. I also think I saw Girl 6, which came out in 1996, but I don't remember a whole lot about it, other than a few scenes and a few just images from it. So I'm not sure if I watched it or sat down and watched it and got interrupted and don't remember it. So I'm incredibly ignorant of Spike Lee's work, so that may be reflected in this review, maybe not. But anyways, Spike Lee did write, produce, and direct Do the Right Thing in 1989. It features a fantastic cast, including Spike Lee himself, but also with Danny Aiello, Ossie Davis, Rosie Perez, John Turturro, Sam Jackson, as he was billed back then, Samuel L. Jackson, Robin Harris, the late, great Robin Harris. Just a lot of fantastic actors in this film. And one of the things I'm not going to be able to do is talk about individual performances too much in this review because I'd be here all day. This is one of the rare movies that I've ever seen where there really isn't a bad performance or anything that really stands out as being a negative in terms of anything about it. The direction on this film is solid. The writing is fantastic. The performances are all great. And this movie definitely gives you something to chew on when the credits roll. It takes place in the Bedford-Stuyvesant area in Brooklyn, New York, and it takes place over the course of 24 hours on one of the hottest days on record in the summer. Temperatures are nearing 100 degrees, and while that means that these characters are, physically hot and sweaty and whatnot, it also means that tempers are starting to flare. Tension is starting to be in the air racially between a group of white people, a group of Latino people, a group of black people. And the film does a really great job of sort of drifting from storyline to storyline, introducing these characters, letting you know a little bit about them, enough to make me at least care enough about them to wonder how they got to where they are, where they're going to be after the movie's over, and what makes them think the way they do. Now, there are a lot of characters in this movie that I didn't particularly like as characters, but I don't think you're supposed to like every movie or every character in this particular movie. And I'm going to have to do a really awkward dance because I don't want to give anything away about this movie, because the fantastic thing about this movie is how it changes from beginning to end. It starts off as sort of a lightweight comedy, or at least it seems like it's a lightweight comedy, but as things start to roll out, you start to see that there's something kind of bubbling under the surface, and the tension is starting to rise as the day goes on. And there's actually one shot where you see as the hours, there's a graph on the front cover of a newspaper, and you see as the temperature is going to increase as the time goes by on the day. So as it gets later in the day, I'm having trouble expressing what I'm trying to explain, but as it gets later in the day, it's going to get hotter, and that's how the film is. The closer you get to the end, the more things tend to get closer to the boiling point, and eventually it reaches that point. And after that, the movie completely changes. And the nature of the film, the way it is, it kind of had me wondering what was going to happen. Because as the camera and the situations drifted from all these different characters and all these different situations, I was trying to figure out, well, what the hell is the plot supposed to be? It all becomes kind of apparent once you get to the end what the point of the movie is. However, it's not a clear-cut, cut and dry solution. It's more of giving you something to chew on when you get to the end credits. And I really have to commend Spike Lee for handling the movie the way he does, fleshing out the characters the way he does. This is not a movie that you're going to sit down and watch and just turn off and forget. You're going to think about it. You're going to wonder what he was trying to say, and did he say it correctly, or do you agree with him or not? There's going to be all sorts of thoughts bouncing around inside your head when you're done with this, if you pay attention. If you're just watching this in the background, not paying attention to it, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense to you. So if you're going to bother watching this film, give it your complete attention. Give it your, all of your mental faculties, basically. Like I said, I could go on and on about the performances in the film. Standouts from Danny Aiello, particularly playing Sal, the pizzeria owner, John Turturro, and I believe the guy's name is Richard Edson. I don't know if he's listed on the back. Yes, Richard Edson. Turturro and Edson play Sal's sons. They're both really good in their roles. Spike Lee is great in his role as Mookie, the delivery boy. Rosie Perez, who I'm not particularly a fan of, is good in her role. Not a bad performance in the bunch. So I'm going to have to give Do the Right Thing a 10 out of 10. It's really hard to review it and not give too much away. But just a great ensemble cast, just a fantastic direction, great script, and really something to chew on when you're done watching it. And unfortunately, the message of this movie is completely relevant, even after so much time has passed since 1989 when this film was brand new. The message is still relevant today, and unfortunately, that's not a good thing. So there you go. There's my review of Do the Right Thing. 10 out of 10, undoubtedly. And I'm very glad I watched it, and I'm actually sad that it took me so long to get to it. But there you go. Next up, I'm actually not even sure what the next movie is going to be. Let me take a quick look here. I think we go to a new chapter called Men and Women, which to me, I believe it's just going to be relationship movies, but the next movie is His Girl Friday, starring Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. So that'll be the next movie. Hopefully I can obtain that at some point fairly soon, so I'll be able to knock that out in the month of February. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and look forward to the next episode of my Essential Movie series coming soon. So